Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Podell. Garrett Podell's an NFL staff writer over at CBSSports.com, and with the NFL preseason now upon us, he's got a ranking of contenders for the NFC by tiers, and naturally we're going to focus on not only the Saints but the NFC South. But wanted to welcome Garrett onto the show. Garrett, we appreciate it, man. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me. Definitely looking forward to this chat. I know these types of rankings and lists generate fun, passionate conversation, and looking forward to diving into it with you.
Why do you hate the Saints?
Why do I hate the Saints? Listen, I don't hate the Saints, okay? I think the Saints are definitely, so in the tiers, I've kind of got them sitting in that wild card zone because, last year they had a top 10 scoring defense, a lot of situational, metrics, third down, red zone, a lot of those. They were really, really good, but they struggled to get after the passer. They were bottom 5 in sacks, and I know sacks aren't the only metric of pass rush, but their quarterback pressure percentage wasn't much better. Cam Jordan, one of their anchors, and to my estimation, I think he's got a good Hall of Fame case. He had only 2 sacks and one of the worst years of his career since he was a rookie, probably the second worst season of his entire career. So you just wonder, can this defense affect the opposing quarterback when they really need to, when it's crunch time? And then Derek Carr on the other side, he finished the season really well, right? 14 touchdowns and 2 picks in the last 5 games. New Orleans won 4 of the last 5 games. But their schedule was really soft at the end. They played the Panthers, they played the Giants. It was kind of, I don't know, it kind of felt like smoke and mirrors in comparison to the rest of the season. And so I kind of want to see, can Derek Carr put it together in New Orleans for a sustained amount of time beyond just a short 5-game sample size against a soft back-end schedule.
By the way, Garrett, I love the New Orleans Saints, but I hate the Saints team. So I'm just joking with you. I'm in total agreement. The odd part, though, is in Tier 3, you have 2 teams as the happy-to-be-here division winners, and you list Tampa Bay and Atlanta. I'm curious because we've heard some prognosticators that are quite bullish on Atlanta with Kirk Cousins now. So Atlanta as a division winner, I could buy that. Atlanta as a contender, are you buying that at all?
No, that's why I basically created that tier, the happy to be here division winners, as kind of a caveat to say, look, these are 2 teams who are kind of favorites, or in my mind, kind of co-favorites, because Tampa Bay's won the division the last 2 years. Baker Mayfield played like a top 10 quarterback statistically in terms of passing yards, passing touchdowns, completion percentage last year, and they kept together a lot of their core, and I like kind of what they brought back in Tampa. So I had them there along with the Falcons, and you mentioned, if you look at a lot of sports books right now, if you're into that kind of thing, Atlanta's the betting favorite, but I don't know that either of these teams is going to do anything serious. I don't see either team, whoever wins the NFC South, they might win a playoff game. I do not see them winning a divisional round playoff game. And as I mentioned in the article, the last NFC South division winner to win the entire NFC was 8 years ago, and that was the Atlanta Falcons. Yes, the Buccaneers did win the Super Bowl in 2020, but that was a wild card team. So if we're talking about the division winner of the NFC South, hasn't really done much lately in the postseason. And just you kind of look at these teams, and they're all kind of topsy-turvy, kind of all around the same level. But Atlanta, I love what they have on offense. Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts is supposed to break out any second now, supposedly. Well, now they have, an offensive coordinator in Zach Robinson coming over from the Rams, who was in a system where they fed their stars the ball, whether it was Puka, whether it was Cooper Kupp, whether it was Todd Gurley. The Rams spam the ball to their best players. So you think, okay, maybe some of those guys didn't get as many touches with Arthur Smith calling the plays, going to get more involved. But I don't really know what they have on defense. Their defensive depth chart is probably one of the weaker ones in the league. So that's kind of why I kept them and Tampa in that they could win the division, but I don't really see them doing much come playoff time.
Garrett Podell's with us, CBSSports.com, NFL staff writer. He's got a tiers list ranking up of contenders in the NFC. I guess out of obligation, I'll ask you your thoughts on the Carolina Panthers, who you've got right there at the caboose.
Now I'm just gonna.
What is that? An alarm?
So I'm in my hotel right now, a little behind the scenes here. So I cover the Dallas Cowboys a lot. I'm in Oxnard, California. I'm at a Dallas Cowboys training camp, and I'm coming to you from my hotel, and literally the fire alarm is going off.
Hey, don't they know we're trying to do live radio here?
Oh, no, we're doing live radio. We're doing this. So I'm stepping outside in the back. 1 second. Okay, so you asked me about the Carolina Panthers. Can you specifically repeat the question? I'm keeping my eye on the ball here. I know it was about the Panthers. Was it anything specific or just my general thought?
You know, Garrett, I really respect tremendously your willingness to power through this.
Absolutely. That's the game.
However, that is so obnoxious. I'm hearing about every other word you're saying.
Okay, hold on. 1 second, man.
We are absolutely, by the way, yes.
Okay.
It is good. We are absolutely clipping this and putting this on all of our social media channels, by the way.
Okay. This is how you know I'm boots on the ground with the NFL, man. I'm here out in Oxnard, California, covering the Cowboys this week, and evidence from the Oxnard Hotel.
Or you could be at a Motel 6 for all we know, and some jackass just pulled the fire alarm. All right.
Hey, it's a respectable Courtyard Marriott.
No, for sure. That's so good. I'm a Marriott member. Hey, all right, so Panthers,
yes.
They're bringing up the caboose there. Any reason to believe they're any better?
I do. I think, they only won 2 games last year, and Bryce Young had one of the worst rookie seasons for any QB in recent memory, especially for a number 1 pick. His pass yards per attempt, 1.5, 4th lowest ever for a rookie, dead last in the league in passer rating. But it wasn't all his fault. He was under pressure. And I liked what they did. They signed Robert Hunt in free agency to fill in at one of the guard spots to a $100 million deal. They signed Damian Lewis, a vet starter from the Seahawks.
Yeah.
And then I really liked what they did, adding Deontay Johnson, a guy who rolls out of bed and gets you about 60, 70 catches, 600, 700 receiving yards easy. And he's someone who I've seen that Dave Canales, the head coach of the Panthers, has raved about and said we're looking to get him the football. So adding him along with Xavier Legette out of South Carolina, their first-round pick, and then going Jonathan Brooks, taking the first running back in the draft, a running back who Jerry Jones said to my face was the best running back in the 2024 draft, and someone who gave him one of the best pre-draft meetings he's ever had with a prospect. And so they brought him in. They got another UT guy, Jatavian Sanders at tight end, 3rd, 4th round. So I kind of like what they did, investing in offensive skill players, investing in Bryce Young. And if you look at Canales, he was the Buccaneers OC. Baker Mayfield has his resurgence and gets a big contract. 2 years ago, he was the Seattle Seahawks QB coach when Geno Smith won Comeback Player of the Year for no longer being mediocre. So Dave Canales, who knows, with that coach and that support staff, support in his ecosystem on offense, it could be a lot better. But I still don't think they're going to do anything. But, they could go from winning 2 games to maybe 6, 7. Who knows?
All right, Garrett, give us the play-by-play. You're on the move. Where are we now? Is the alarm off, or did you just relocate?
The alarm's off. So
okay.
I've relocated from back inside. So now we are chilling in the peace and quiet indoors once again.
Oh, so the alarm was going off. So you went outside, like you were doing the fire drill.
Yes. I was inside. Alarm went off. Fire drill time. So I'm holding my laptop, AirPods in, talking to you. And then I step outside. You say, you know what? It's too loud. I say, fine. I'm a step a few, maybe 10 yards further. You said it was good. Continue from there. Alarm goes off. Now we're back in the shade.
Okay. I mean, this is one of the more incredible, certainly one of the more incredible first conversations I've ever had with anybody on air. I've been doing this a long time, Garrett. I mean, we are embarking on new territory, which is this is one I will remember for a long time. A lot of people would have just punted. And by the way, good for you for actually abiding by fire alarm going off, exiting, because a lot of people, I think, hear a fire alarm, like, would somebody just turn off the damn alarm? You know what I mean? Like, they don't actually think, oh, there could be a fire, you know?
Look, you never know. I'm in Southern California. You see stuff on the news, California wildfires. It's a beautiful sunny day out here just north of Los Angeles and Oxnard. But listen, I'm a team player, and I came here to talk about NFC contention tiers.
I love it.
And we are going to do that. And
I love it.
So this is a very, very memorable first conversation. I hope we can have more conversations. And we can keep talking.
I love it.
You can let me go. I can stay on. And we can just keep talking.
I got one more for you, Garrett. Garrett Podell. He's on Twitter at Garrett Podell, Podell, if you want to give him a follow. I want to ask you about the two rookies in Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams, both of whom you have in the same tier with the Saints. So I don't know if I should be excited for a guy like Jaden Daniels to be not in the complete cellar, or more disappointed that the Saints are viewed in the same way as two rookie quarterbacks?
I totally understand your conflicted feelings there, Matt. And that just kind of more has to do with Washington. They did a complete overhaul of their roster, right? They hired GM Adam Peters over from the San Francisco 49ers, hired over Dan Quinn, someone I got to know out here in Dallas the last few years at the Cowboys DC to be the head coach, new regime. And they had cap space, and they spent it. I mean, they got Austin Eckler, a fantasy football darling at running back. He's a great guy who Jaden Daniels can check passes down to. Zach Ertz, he's older now, but a reliable tight end. And he scooped over a number of Cowboys from Pro Bowl center Tyler Biadasz to a couple D linemen, Dorrance Armstrong, Dante Fowler, Bobby Wagner, one of his old guys from the Legion of Boom days. I mean, they just went to work on this roster. And to me, the 6-7 seed in the NFC, I mean, the 7 seed last year was the Packers at 9-8. So, I mean, if you're a game over 500 or in that 500 realm, you're in competition to be a wild card team. And I think the New York Giants are going to be very, very brutally bad because I don't believe in Daniel Jones at all. So I think Washington's going to be in a position where just on the virtue of their schedule, their record will be around 500 as the end of the season comes near. So that's kind of just more of like Washington's a contention by almost like for a wild card spot. Let me be very clear, wild card spot by like default. The Bears, I think could legitimately be like a solid wild card team because Caleb Williams is walking through a situation where he's the only top 5 draft pick quarterback ever to walk into a situation where he has 2 wide receivers in DJ Moore and Keenan Allen, who are both coming off seasons in which they each had over 1,200 receiving yards. He's coming in with an awesome supporting cast. They signed DeAndre Swift. They draft Rome Odunze, who was the college football receiving yards leader this past season. I mean, he's walking into riches offensively in Chicago. So, and Chicago's defense down the stretch after they traded for Montez Sweat was the number 1 scoring defense in football the last 6-7 games of the year. So I really do like Chicago's wild card spot a lot. Washington, Jaden Daniels, that's more to do with contention by default for a wild card spot there.
All right. Garrett Podell, appreciate it, man. Stay safe. Watch out for those fires. Dodge those fire alarms. Enjoy Oxnard, man. We appreciate a couple minutes.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me. We'll be happy to join anytime, fire alarm or not.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.